Most people think you need money to get started in real estate. A big down payment, rich parents, perfect credit, a high-paying job. But if I lost everything tomorrow and I had to start over from zero, I wouldn't focus on any of those things. In fact, I would focus on something completely different. Because the biggest mistake people make when trying to build wealth through real estate is thinking that money is the first thing they need. It's not. What you need first is access. Access to deals, access to people, access to knowledge, and access to opportunities. If I had to start over today with $0, here's exactly what I would do. The first thing I would do is get around the business. Not necessarily buy real estate, get around it. Because most people try to learn real estate from YouTube videos, books, and podcasts. Those things are useful, but real wealth gets built in conversations, not classrooms. If I were starting over, I would spend my time around investors, developers, agents, contractors, property managers, lenders, people who are actively doing deals, because proximity creates opportunity. You start hearing conversations, you start learning how deals work, you start understanding where problems exist, and eventually you start seeing opportunities that other people miss. The second thing I would do is develop a skill that actually creates income. This is where many people get stuck. They spend years looking for the perfect investment when they should be building their earning power, because real estate is a capital business. Eventually, you will need money. The fastest way to get money is through skills, not investments. If I had to start over today, I would strongly consider becoming a real estate agent. Not because it's easy, because it gives you access. You see deals, you meet investors, you learn how properties are valued, you understand financing, and you get paid while learning. That's a powerful combination. If being an agent isn't for you, I would learn another skill: sales, marketing, construction, property management, anything that creates value, because value creates income and income creates options. The third thing I would focus on is house hacking. This is one of the best wealth building strategies available. If I could save enough money for a small down payment, I would buy properties that help pay for itself. Maybe a duplex, maybe a triplex, maybe a home with a rentable basement. The goal is simple: reduce your housing expense, because your housing payment is usually your largest monthly expense. The lower that expense becomes, the more money you can invest. Here's something people don't realize. The first property does not make you rich. The first property creates momentum. That's the goal, momentum. Most people spend years trying to find the perfect deal instead of buying a good deal and learning. The fourth thing I would do is build relationships with people who have capital. This is where many people get confused. They think investors are looking for money. Often, they're looking for opportunities. There are people with money who don't have time, and there are people with time who don't have money. Real estate partnerships happen when those two groups meet. If I had no money, I would become extremely valuable. I would learn how to analyze deals. I would learn my market. I would find opportunities. I would bring value first, because people fund opportunities, not excuses. The fifth thing I would do is stop chasing shiny objects. This is where I see people lose years. 1 month, they're wholesaling. The next month, they're flipping. Then they're trading crypto, then selling courses, then trying Airbnb, commercial real estate, land development, self-storage. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those strategies. The problem is they never stay with one long enough to become good at it. Wealth usually comes from depth, not constant switching. If I were starting over, I would pick one lane and stay there long enough to become dangerous. The sixth thing I would do is learn how financing works. This is one of the biggest advantages in real estate. Most people think real estate investors buy properties with cash. The reality is most investors build wealth using leverage: banks, private lenders, partnerships, seller financing, line of credit, Understanding how money moves is often more important than having money itself. Because real estate is really a financing business disguised as a property business. The better you understand financing, the more opportunities you create. The seventh thing I would focus on is cash flow, not appreciation. This surprises people. Everyone wants the property that doubles in value, but appreciation is hard to predict. Cash flow, on the other hand, is measurable. Cash flow helps you survive. Cash flow helps you hold properties during difficult markets. Cash flow also gives you options. Many investors fail because they buy based on hope, not cash flow. And hope is not a business plan. Cash flow is. The eighth thing I would do is think long term. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 10. Real estate is not a get-rich-quick business. It's a get-rich-slow business. But that is exactly why it works, because most people quit before compounding actually starts. The first property feels small. The second property feels small. The third property feels small. Then one day, you realize tenants have paid down hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Your properties have appreciated, your rents have increased, and your equity has grown. The magic is not speed. The magic is time. If I lost everything tomorrow and had to start over from zero, I wouldn't spend my time looking for shortcuts. I would build skills, build relationships, create income, buy assets, and repeat. Because real estate wealth is not built through one lucky deal. It's built through hundreds of small decisions made consistently over time. And the good news is this: you don't need to start where someone else finished. You just need to start where you are right now. Now, if this helped you understand how I would approach real estate starting from zero, subscribe for more videos about real estate investing, business, and building long-term wealth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.